people every day. So I'm organizing with 5 daily motivations, right? And then some of you might work Saturdays, some even Sundays, right? I'm gonna give you just short little blips on Saturday. Hey, hello, what's going on? Hope we'll see whether you're relaxing or not. And that's for the first 12 weeks. Then you'll go back and you'll have your dailies anyway, okay? So let's rock and roll. All right. So we're gonna start off with, you guys went through the introduction, which I think was pretty cool, right? And you'll notice I'm not cursing in these because there's no more curses because it's a corporate program, right? Which is kind of fun, right? So I'm gonna keep it clean here, right? And I think that's good anyway, right? So let's go. So you went through the introduction, right? That set up module 1, which is cracking the code. And let me just give you, the thoughts for today here while you're out in the field. Remember, okay, what took the straight line and made it this incredible tool that any salesperson could use. I went through this whole story about, Pluto and this. Don't even, for this first lesson, that was just all to create context for you. The most important takeaway from module number 1, and what I want you to focus on right now, is that those 3 basic tenets of the front half of the straight line. That's your takeaway here. Okay, number 1, that you must take immediate control of the sale. That's take that from this first lesson. Number 2, that you're going to use that control to gather intelligence. Massive intelligence, identifying people's needs, values, beliefs. Right? This is just from lesson 1, right? So it's a framing lesson, right? Just remember, I want you to focus, but that's your takeaway, is that second step is to gather intelligence. You don't use control to become a talking head, talk. You gather and you use control to be positioned as an expert, and then it allows you to ask questions and get answered honestly. Now, how you do that's coming in the next module, right? Next week. But, because there's so much more, this is just, you're scratching the surface here, right? But I want you to have this core takeaway. Remember, because you all know, you probably studied some other less robust versions of the straight line, so you know what comes next. You know about sharp as attack enthusiast. You're not just blind as a bat here. You're not unconsciously incompetent. You know what to do. But you're learning it now in such a deeper, more deliberate way that you're going to be able to use this to truly become someone that can close anyone who's closable. And that's what the straight line's all about. So it starts with taking immediate control. That's your takeaway. Number 2, using that control to gather massive intelligence, right? Asking questions, 2 ears, 1 mouth, listen twice as much as you're speaking. Remember, along with that, this key takeaway here is that, when you're off the straight line, but inside those boundaries, right? What that really means is, so when you ask a question to a prospect, tell me, how long you've been living in this area for? That question was directly on the straight line. As they start to answer you and they tell you the information you need to gather, that's called being off the straight line but in the boundaries. Just remember this visual because it's so powerful to understand what is really going on as you influence. You ask questions, people answer you, and the key is not to get caught up in that insanity of where they start to ramble and spiral off to Pluto or Uranus, and you jump into nightmare because the water's warm. Oh my God, you like fishing? I like fishing. And I'll go into that in much later detail to avoid that. But the point is, just remember, when you need to know the building blocks, the terminology. When you're on the line, directly on the line, that's when you're talking and you're actually presenting and persuading. When you're off the straight line, but inside those healthy boundaries, that's when you are listening actively. Your prospect is speaking, you're listening actively, which now takes us to the 3rd basic tenet of the front half of the straight line, which is you want to use that question and that gathering intelligence to build massive rapport. We build rapport by asking really smart questions, and believe me, wait till you get to the prospecting module. I mean, we turn this into literally science, a damn science project. So there is just no way you won't be able to go through an amazing intelligence gathering session when this is done, no matter what industry you're in. Offline, online, in person, on the phone, doesn't matter. And also, by the way, one other thing I've really added to the back end here is how you take the people, the secondary follow-ups, how you become a follow-up expert to those that don't buy in the first go-around for all the longer sales cycles. How do you keep on top of those people like white on rice? But keeping it to this first module here, right? 3 takeaways. Number 1, take immediate control. Number 2, use that control to gather massive intelligence. Beliefs, values, needs. Needs being primary needs, secondary needs, tertiary needs, right? Pain points. What's worrying them? What's keeping them up at the base of their skull? What worries them? That's going to close the toughest sales. Okay? Then, as you're asked those questions and you're getting like a that's how you build that massive rapport simultaneously. And when you do those 3 things, it sets you up for greatness. You get it? Now, turning it over to the practical application, guys, none of this works if you're not out there in the field or on the phone banging away. Remember, sales is a numbers game. Let's just call it like it is. I can take any person, including you, but you gotta be willing to work. And also, remember those dream stoppers. You're just getting started on this amazing journey that's gonna change your life and improve the life of everybody around you. Don't let the naysayers get in your way from living the life you deserve. You deserve a life of greatness. You deserve to be able to have the things that you want and desire. You deserve to be able to take care of the people that you love. You deserve to be able to provide for your family, the community around you. You deserve to live a life at the highest level. Bottom line, and I'm here to help you get there. That's what straight line certification's all about. Okay? If you haven't gone through lesson 1, make sure you do it today. Please. Because tomorrow I'm moving on to the next lesson. Okay? So make sure you do it today. Go through your quizzes, do your exercises. Every exercise is going to come back in later modules. You'll see the whole thing builds into this wild turnkey scripting solution. So you're in great hands. I want to thank you for signing up. You guys are also, those who haven't, check it out. Remember, there's a 30-day free trial. You can't lose. All right. If you have, and also some people had issues with payments. You couldn't afford it. The team's been a bit liberal for those that need a little bit extra time to pay. I'm open to that. Those are for special people. Love you all. Let's rock and roll. We'll talk again tomorrow.